Hello, this is Kyra. In this video, we're going to show you how to take a quote that you've put together in VAX and put it into a professional document using a free service called Google Docs. So this training, I'm not going to go into much detail at all about how to create a quote in VAX, but we are going to talk about the system VAX has built into it that allows you to email yourself a quote of whatever it is that you have selected. So I'm here in VAX. I put in Cancun for some dates because I want to show you real quickly the sales email feature that is built into VAX. So you'll notice that this top option here in this box, we have a price, we have a select button, and some space down here at the bottom. So if I want to start building together a quote in VAX, I have to start by clicking the Create Sales Email button that's over here on the right-hand side. You'll notice once I click this button, a new checkbox has popped up here that wasn't there before that allows me to add this room category in this hotel to a sales email. So while I'm doing my research for my client, anything I want to send to them, I need to make sure I check this box. You'll notice if I expand out all the room categories at this hotel, they each have a checkbox. So if you would like to upgrade the room category, make sure you check the box to the category you would like to quote your clients. For training purposes, I'm going to add the first two to the sales email, and I'm going to go ahead and select this first resort. There's one additional thing to know about the sales email, and that's that any features or rental cars that you add on are not automatically added to that email. We've got to go over here to features and do that ourselves with the same checkboxes we were just looking at. Okay, so you'll see this dark blue color around this area means that this is what is currently in the quote. You'll notice this one does not have that same dark blue. I want to make sure to add this to the sales email. And I also have shared transfers built into here that I want to add to my sales email as well. So let's say I finished my research. I've picked everything I want to send to my client in their quote. I'm now going to go to preview sales email. It's the same button we were just clicking before to have our checkboxes pop up for our sales email. It just has some different text on it. I'm going to go ahead and click on that. Let's see, I have an error here. Let me refresh. Let's refresh real quick. Okay, I'm going to click Preview Sales Email, and it's going to load all of our options. You'll see the passenger information, hotels, and features all listed here. And you'll notice there's a price listed for each one of these things. That is because the Show Prices checkbox is checked. Now, I want to be very clear, you should not email this directly to your client, okay? This has the vendor's branding all over it. It's an opportunity for you to brand yourself is to send this to yourself. So put your own email address in the to field so that you can email this quote to you, and I'm going to show you how you can brand that document. In the subject line, I recommend putting your client's name, maybe the destination. When you click preview, you will then have the option to send it to yourself as it is. So let's look at a complete example here. This is the email that I received. Again, I emailed it to myself. I do not email this to my clients because you can see right here at the top, what does it say? It says FunJet Vacations. That is the vendor that I was looking at. We have the passenger information, the flight information. This reservation in our example today is from Houston to Cancun for a long weekend in September. We have our hotel options here. Pricing for the travel protection as well. These are 3 different hotels I picked out for our example. There is a rental car added into here, and then the features as in the travel protection, okay? So what I'm going to do next is show you how to get your quote template started. So I'm in my Google Drive. You should have a Google account. It is required in order to have a Google business listing. If you haven't set that up yet, you will get to that very soon. Now I'm logged into my Gmail account. I can click these 9 dots on the side and you'll see I have a lot of options. I'm in the Google Drive, which is the triangle shaped icon. That is where I'm at, and I'm going to create a quote template. Now, I recommend you have a template that you can copy and paste every time to speed up the process a little bit. I'm going to start by going to New on the left-hand side. If you're familiar with Microsoft products, Google Docs is like Microsoft Word, Google Sheets is like Excel, and Google Slides is like PowerPoint. Okay, these are all free to use services included with your Google account or your Gmail account. I'm going to create a Google Doc, a Word document. Up here at the top, I'm going to call it quote template. Okay. So I create a quote template just to save me some time when I am doing a quote for my clients. I'm going to show you a little trick up here. Up here at the top, there is a header. I'm going to double click in that area, okay? So I like to put my logo on the left-hand side of my header and my information on the right-hand side. So how do I do that? I found that the easiest way is to insert a table that has 2 columns in 1 row. So I went to insert table and I did 2 columns in 1 row. It will insert this table here for me. I'm going to just use some examples here and your business logo, okay? I'm not going to put an image in, but the way that you would do that is to go to insert image, and it will give you the option to upload from your computer, and it will put that image wherever your cursor is currently highlighted. If you store your logo in your Google Drive, you can find it there as well, but upload from computer will work for most of you. I would insert that right in this side of the table. Now on this side of the table, I'm going to change my orientation to the right by clicking on the lines over here and switching it to a right alignment. So I would put my name, my agency name, so your business name that you've come up with, my phone number, and my email address. So I would go ahead and put this with your information here. Now we have the black lines around our table. To remove those, select your entire table here. Right click, and we're going to have table properties here, okay? Let me dismiss this. I can go down here to color, and again, I selected my table, I right-clicked, I went to table properties, and I have the option here to change my table border color to white. That makes it disappear. So no one knows that I have a table there, but it makes it very easy for me to put this information on opposite sides. It's a little hack that I have learned that you might find useful. So the next thing I'm going to do for my quote template is to go down to the bottom and double click into my footer. I'm going to put in here pricing and availability subject to change until deposit is made, right? We as travel agents cannot guarantee pricing and availability until they've locked in a reservation and have made their deposit. I'd like to center this, so I'm going to hover over this. Now, some things disappeared because I had that sidebar open, but I'm going to select everything in my footer. I'm going to come to my alignment again, and I'm going to choose center, okay? So this is my quote template. You'll see if I create a new page, let's add some empty spaces here. These headers and footers are going to show up on every page of my quote. And it's going to help me to brand my business and not to brand the vendor, right? We don't want to brand Apple Vacations and FunJet Vacations. We want to brand ourselves. So this is our quote template, a really quick setup here. And I highly recommend that you go ahead and create this so you don't have to recreate it every single time. Now I'm going to go back to my Google Drive tab. You'll see in this folder, I now have my quote template. So let's make a copy of this, okay? So I have my quote template, and every time I work on a new quote, I'm going to make a copy of this template. I'm going to right click, and I'm going to go down to make a copy. Okay, that will create my copy really quickly. It's always called copy of whatever the file name was. And I'm going to double click on this to open it up. Okay, so here's my quote template, and now I don't have to reinvent that part of it. So I'm going to name this document Cancun trip. But you will probably want to use your client's name, some sort of identifying information, because as you continue to do these quotes, it's going to help you stay organized if you have a good naming system. So I'm going to start with a short little introduction. I'm going to say, thank you for choosing my business name for your upcoming, so maybe it's a anniversary trip, because it is two adults going to Cancun. That sounds like a good anniversary trip. Trip to Cancun, Mexico. I'm going to plug in a little more information once I copy this over so that I have it in front of me. So I just like to write a little sentence, and I'm going to add a little bit more to this just momentarily. But now I'm going to go back to my email, okay? This is the email that was sent to me from FunJet. I'm going to select everything starting from passenger information. I'm going to click and drag and copy all the way down. Keep going here to the bottom here, and I'm going to right click and I'm going to copy all of that. Now I'm going to go back to my document. I'm going to right click and I'm going to paste, okay? So this is going to paste this into here. It looks like we have an issue with the images, which we can fix in a moment. Let's try one more time with this image here just to see. Sometimes it can have some issues copying depending on your web browser and other issues. So let's see here. Okay, I was able to copy and paste that image into there. I'm going to pause the video real quick while I copy and paste the other images into our document. Okay, I'm back. I just copied my images into here by copy and pasting them from my email into this document. So you'll see we have a little bit of cleanup to do, okay? So let me finish my sentences at the top here first. Your upcoming anniversary to Cancun, Mexico. The totals quoted below are for two adults traveling from September 12th through 16th. Always put the year when you are doing a quote. You may have a client who tells you they want to go in June, but maybe they actually mean June of next year, not June of this year. I've certainly experienced that. So always make sure you have the right year, because some people do plan very far in advance. Okay, so the totals quoted below are for two adults traveling from September 12th through 16th, 2024, and include, I would list out everything that's included in the totals, which is going to be round trip airfare. And you know what, this is nonstop airfare, so I would always make a note of that. Nonstop airfare out of Houston. These are all all-inclusive resorts, so all-inclusive resort accommodations. I believe it was a full-size rental car and travel protection. Let me see this. Okay, 2 words. There we go. We do have a spell checker built into Google Docs. So now I have a little bit of a summary of what's included in this quote. You can write this however you like. Of course, use your voice and keep your business and your branding in mind. So passenger information, I'm going to change this to traveler. So that makes sense for more people, but passenger is okay too, so that they know it's 2 adults included. Now you'll notice these other ones have colons. I would add a colon real. right here real quick. Now, when I come down here to flight information, okay, the next thing, these are the flights that I selected. We have their outbound flight and their return flight. I do not include flight numbers when I am quoting flights because the clients can find it a lot easier themselves. Some travel agents don't even include the airline. I personally do include the airline. It is up to you how you do this, but I do take the flight numbers out, and the fact that it was a bulk fare, it could be a published fare. That's something that doesn't necessarily explain much to the client, but I do want them to know they're in economy. So I deleted that unnecessary information, and I have here my flight times, my flight date, and the airports. So that's it for the flight information. Now we have a little bit more to do down here at hotels. So I would like to change this to hotel options, okay? Because I have 3 listed here and they all have a price there. It's important for you to note that the prices shown are for the travelers on the reservation and do not include the add-ons. That's why we have so many price pluses everywhere through this document and through the email we received. Okay, I'm going to delete this part because I'm going to add all the totals up together for my client. Okay, there we go. They have lots of extra space, so sometimes you do have to delete a few things. So now I'm going to come down here to our first hotel option, the RIU all-inclusive hotel. VAX vendors will give you the rating, the location, the distance from the airport, the room category, and any extras here, okay? So let's say we're going to leave the rating, we're going to leave the location. Depending on what your client is looking for, you might want to be more specific than Cancun Beach, right? This hotel is in the hotel zone, so maybe that's something that I would put here instead. So think about what your client has stressed is important, because that may change how you go about what you're typing here. Now I'm going to change this. Since there's only 1 room on this quote, I'm going to delete the number 1 and I'm going to leave the room as a junior suite. We do have the up to $850 in resort credits. I'm going to delete that period. And we also have save up to 52%. Okay, so this copied over here. Let me see if I can fix that. I'm going to copy some space. Actually, what I'm going to do to kind of fix our spacing issue here. See, I don't like that it's in red down there. It's taking up a lot of space. I like everything to kind of be concise. So I'm going to copy this line and I'm going to paste it, and I'm just going to change the text here. Then I have my formatting just like I like it. But of course, this is your quote, so you should make it your own. I'm going to delete this part here, and there we go. We have some space saved. So now I'm going to go in here and add up my total. So let me pull out my calculator. This total here is for the hotel and the flights only, okay? So they do give you the package rate on this sales email for the hotels and flights. Now I'm going to add in the cost of the travel protection. You'll see it's right here under this line. That is because depending on what hotel options you choose, they may have different travel protection costs based on price tier. So I'm going to add that number in. I'm going to scroll past these things because I also want to add in their car option. So I'm going to add in the car option here, add that total. And the travel protection we added up at the top, so I do not need to add that. Now, when I'm doing a quote for my clients, especially when it includes multiple travel components such as airfare, I usually round up to the nearest dollar. So when I added this up, I got $2,817.65. So I'm going to round up to $2,818, and I'm going to leave this sentence out. I know that pricing is subject to change, and I think it looks a lot cleaner for my client to not have that information there, those decimal points. So I do take it out, especially when I have all of these travel components. And I know this price may change between the time they receive this and the time we make their reservation. So now I have my second hotel. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to remove the number 1 next to room because we only have 1 room. This is a complimentary upgrade to nonstop transfers with the purchase of shared transfers. This is included with that room. Now, I don't have transfers in this example. I actually have rental cars. So in this example, this is irrelevant. So I'm going to go ahead and remove that and remove as many spaces as I can underneath. Now let's go down here to our live aqua example. Let's clean this one up real quick, and then I'll go add up all of our totals. I'm going to remove this period, okay? And we have some spaces down here at the bottom. Oops, there we go. Clear those up. So let me add these totals. So I'm going to look at the breathless right now. And I'm going to add in the travel protection. And I'm going to add up the car option. And I'm going to round to the nearest dollar up. So I'm going to have $2,918. I'm going to get rid of the word from here because that's the exact price, okay? From can be confusing, but that also means that's the starting point, right? Of course, this has the fees broken down. And now I'm going to add up the totals for the Live Aqua Hotel option. Let's see, plus $219.98 for travel protection, and I'm going to add that car in one more time. Okay, now, of course, when you're doing this for your clients, always double check your math to make sure it is correct, okay? Again, this is for training purposes. So I now have my totals all added up. They all look nice and clean. Before I get down to the car options, I want to point out that my travel protection is listed down here at the bottom. I have a special call out for it with this information. So what I personally do is I remove this travel protection from underneath each of the hotel options to, again, make my quote look cleaner, but also it is at the bottom, so I don't need to list it here. So I'm going to go ahead and select, and you'll notice that this is a table. So just like we did in our quote template, I'm going to drag and select this. I'm going to right click and I am going to delete the table here. Oops. It's combined with the other table, I apologize. So we're actually going to delete the row, okay? Because this whole thing is one table. So we just need to delete that one row. So now Breathless fits on this same page. That looks really nice. I'm going to go ahead and delete these two rows as well for travel protection. Select it all, right click, delete row. And I'm going to do it for the Live Aqua as well. Right click, delete row. Okay, so this is starting to look really good here and really clean and easy to follow and easy to understand. Okay, so next up, we have the car option to deal with. So you'll see it provided a pickup location and a drop-off location. I may not have adjusted these times to match the flights when I was putting this together, but I'm going to change this to be a little clearer, and I'm going to say Cancun Airport. And I would put the drop-off and pickup time that is correct. You'll see here it says 12 p.m. So we're going to say drop off time, whatever it is. I'm going to put that in there, but I'm going to put Cancun Airport because that is where they are going to be picking it up. It just has something to do with how VAX shows this information. So I'm going to delete this. So what you would do is make sure you put the pickup and drop off time that match what you put in VAX, which should be related to your flight times. Now, this is very important, okay? Some rental car agencies have additional taxes and fees that are charged when you pick up the car. Sometimes they're included, sometimes they're not. Now, we can delete this sentence about car prices listed or not included because we added this total in already, but we need to leave this statement about additional taxes and fees being charged at the pickup desk, okay? Now, it does say in here tax inclusive, which usually means that the taxes are included. So in this example, this case, the taxes are included in the price, but this is the blanket statement that is provided by VAX. So before you delete this statement, always make sure that the taxes are included in your example. One thing to note here is we have the Volkswagen Jetta included as an example. Always make sure it says or similar because they are not guaranteeing this car. That is an example of the car that they may receive with a picture because this is a full-size car and you'll notice it does say Alamo, that's the rental company. So I'm going to go over here. We've already added this total in. I'm going to select it and I'm going to just simply delete it from that spot. And I only have one car option. I don't have multiple options. So I'm going to just put rental car there. Next up is the features. You'll see prices are not included. Select features because features also includes tours and excursions, may not be available with all hotels. That's not an issue for us because we already added in the price of the travel protection and we don't have any tours included in this example. So that is unnecessary. Now I'm going to go over here and delete this information, this price, because we've already added it in. And you'll notice as I move my mouse around this area, this little symbol pops up that's going to allow me to widen this column. It gives a little more space for the text. It looks like it fills it out a little bit better. And I can even delete this column too if I wanted to, but I think it looks pretty good like this. So I'm going to delete this last sentence that was copied over from the email. And you'll see here we now have our quote that was created with Google Docs. In order to send this to my client, I would go to File, the option Download, and I always download as a PDF document and send the PDF to my clients. So I would go to Download and select PDF, and it will download to my downloads folder on my computer, and I can easily email it to my client from there. When you email your quote to your client, don't forget to include a personalized message for what the quote is all about and something personal to them as well in that email when you send this. And there we go. So that is the training here on creating a quote with Google Docs. You can see it's pretty simple to take a reservation you're putting together in Vax, copy over to a Google document, brand it, and clean it up a little bit so it looks nicer. So I hope this was helpful to you, and I'll see you in the future trainings.